Hi everyone, welcome to another session. Today we are going to discuss about inborn errors of metabolism. What are these inborn errors of metabolism? See, there are a lot of metabolic activities take place in our body after we consume food. The food which we take like carbohydrates, proteins and fats, they undergo some metabolic reactions in our body. So those metabolic reactions in our body leads to the formation of energy. But sometimes during rare conditions, there are some genetic disorders which occur by birth, and such genetic disorders due to errors in metabolism, we call them as inborn errors in metabolism. That is, generally what happens is here, the defect is due to some of the enzyme necessary for formation of a particular product. When that product is not formed, or when that product is in between, if it stops without breaking down, without metabolizing into energy, then it gets accumulated in our body. It gets accumulates in our body, and those chemical substances which accumulates in our body leads to some disorders, and such disorders are called as inborn errors of metabolism. So here you can see the definition. Inborn errors of metabolism are the rare genetic disorders in which the body cannot properly turn food into energy. That's what I told you. And the disorders are usually by defects of specific proteins, nothing but which help in the formation of enzymes. Generally what happens is here, the genes which are responsible for production of a particular enzyme will be either recessive in condition, or it may be either absent. During that process, what happens is the enzymes required for that particular reaction is not formed. When it is not formed, that process will be not occurred, and then there will be problem in the process of metabolism. Then that particular product which is not broken into energy can build up in the body. It remains in our body, and they cause some range of symptoms, and altogether such symptoms together we call them as inborn errors, because the defect is seen from birth itself. It's not occurring in the middle, but it is occurring by birth. By birth we have some genetical disorder in our body, and that genetical disorder leads to uh, problem in our metabolic activity, which causes either developmental delays or some other medical problems, which cannot be, if they are not controlled properly. Suppose if anything is deficient in our body and we get to know about that particular deficiency, immediately we have to rectify it. If it is not rectified, they lead to some disorders, and such disorders are called as what? Inborn errors of metabolism. And there are so many different types of inborn errors of metabolism, many number of inborn errors of metabolism, because lot of metabolic activities take place in our body, either through protein metabolism or fat metabolism or through lipid metabolism. But here I'm going to discuss about only some few types of inborn errors, like fructose intolerance, galactosemia, maple sugar urine disease, phenylketonuria, alkaptonuria, albinism. These are the some frequently seen inborn errors of metabolism, which we are going to deal now. So in this, the first one, see here you can classify the disorders like on what basis, means what type of metabolic activities is the reason for that particular disease. For example, we can see here there are some classifications here. One is during amino acid metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism, porphyrin metabolism, purine and pyrimidine metabolism, steroid metabolism, mitochondrial function, peroxisomal function, lysosomal function. Suppose if there is any disorder in these metabolic activities, then there are so many number of diseases occur. For example, if you take amino acid metabolism, it leads to phenylketonuria, alkaptonuria, homocystinuria. In the same way, in carbohydrate metabolism, galactosemia, glycogen storage disease, porphyrin metabolism, acute intermittent porphyriasis. And in purine and pyrimidine metabolism, it leads to Lesch-Hyand syndrome. Steroid metabolism leads to congenital adrenal hyperplasia. In mitochondrial dysfunction or disorder in mitochondrial function, it leads to Kriens-Sayre syndrome. In paroxysmal function, it leads to Zellweger syndrome. In lysosomal disorder, it leads to lysosomal storage diseases. This is a group of diseases, lysosomal storage diseases or glycogen storage diseases. So we have so many number of diseases which are due to disorders, metabolic disorders. It may be either amino acid metabolism disorder or carbohydrate or a porphyrin, purine, anything can it be. So here we are going to discuss only few of it. As I told you earlier, we'll discuss about these things: fructose intolerance, galactosemia, maple sugar urine disorder, phenylketonuria, alkaptonuria, albinism, which are mostly frequently asked in the exams. The first one is alkaptonuria. So alkaptonuria is a rare inherited disorder. It occurs when our body cannot produce an enzyme called as homogentisic deoxygenase. You can see here it is due to the deficiency of the enzyme called homogentisic deoxygenase. And this homogentisic deoxygenase is produced by the enzyme called HGD gene. By the gene called HGD gene. This HGD gene is responsible for the production of homogentisic dioxygenase. But when this gene gets mutated, or if the gene is absent, or if the gene becomes recessive, then this enzyme is not produced. What is the function of this enzyme? This enzyme is useful. You can see the reaction here. This enzyme is useful for during amino acid metabolism. Phenylalanine forms into tyrosine. Tyrosine forms into 4-hydroxyphenylpyruvic acid. The enzyme here, and then it leads to homogentisic acid. So what happens here is the enzyme required for this. So homogentisic acid should be converted into acetoacetic acid. So this is the product which we require. From where? From homogentisic acid. But what happens here is the enzyme required for this reaction. What is that enzyme here? It is homogentisinate 1,2-dioxygenase. This enzyme is required to convert homogentisic acid into melloacetic acid, which will further forms into succinyl acetoacetic acid or fumarate acetoacetic acid, which will go into TCA site. So that is how it helps in the formation of the energy. Later on it will convert into energy. But the problem here is what is happening here is, till here the step is okay. But here the homogentisic acid is not converted into maleic acid due to the absence of this enzyme called homogentisate 1,2-deoxygenase. When this is absent, what happens is this homogentisic acid gets accumulated in our body, in our blood, and it gets oxidized. When it gets oxidized, it forms into alkapton. So here the oxidized form of homogentisic acid is alkapton. And when this alkapton gets accumulated in our body, it is generally excreted out from urine. And when it comes out from the urine, it usually appears dark color. The urine becomes very dark color. Generally, urine is pale yellow in color, but here it becomes dark color. And this condition where the alkapton gets accumulated under skin, it gets accumulates in your bones, it gets accumulated in your eyes and all, and leads into discoloration of that particular area. The color becomes dark. That particular area where it gets accumulates becomes dark, and that condition is called as alkaptonuria. Okay, and generally what happens here? The cartilage becomes discolored and brittle, typically leads to osteoarthritis, especially in your spine and large joints. Even it affects your bones. So this homogentisic acid will accumulate in your bone and leads to discoloration of cartilage, and cartilage will also become brittle so that it will easily break, and it also leads to osteoarthritis, especially in your spinal cord and large joints. These are the major effect of this alkaptonuria. So I think you got this reaction which I told here. So what is the reaction which is stopped here? The reaction which is stopped is nothing but homogentisic acid is not converted into melloacetic acid. That is the problem. So that is the reason this homogentisic acid gets accumulated in our body, leads into a disorder called alkaptonuria. So these are symptoms of alkaptonuria, and dark stains on the baby's diapers are the earliest symptom. See, generally we don't know, by seeing baby we cannot know whether that particular baby is suffering with alkaptonuria. But by seeing the urine, because urine color will change, when the urine color will change, we get to know that that particular baby is suffering with alkaptonuria during childhood. And symptoms become more obvious as you grow. Urine may turn dark brown or black when it is exposed to air. And by the time you reach 20s or 30s, you may notice early onset of osteoarthritis. Your joint pains and all will come. And you can also notice chronic stiffness or pain in your lower back and in large joints. Other than these are the major symptoms. Other than this, we also have some more symptoms like dark spots in the sclera, that is of your eyes, thickened and darkened cartilage in your ears, blue speckled discoloration of your skin, particularly around sweat glands. And generally, if you get sweat, the sweat will be dark in color. It will be appearing on your clothes, and even the ear wax will be also black. It may also lead to kidney stones and even prostate stones, arthritis, especially hip and knee joints. And in severe conditions, hyalocaptonuria can also lead to heart problems. It can also lead to heart problems. And because this homogenesic acid causes your heart valves to harden, because it will go and accumulate in the valves of the heart, and because of that, there will be no proper functioning of the valves, which will lead to ultimately heart damage. And in the diagram, you can see here, these are the representations to show you. So this is a normal urine of a normal individual, and this is the urine of a person suffering with alkaptonuria. And you can see here dark color patches over the skin. The eyeball, you can see here, the white eyeball becomes black, dysfunction in the bones, and even the skin color will also change, black color. So these are all the symptoms of alkaptonuria. I think you got it. Next is the phenylketonuria. This is also like, as we have seen that reaction here, it is a problem with phenylalanine. Phenylalanine should convert into tyrosine. But due to absence of the enzyme called phenylalanine hydroxylase, phenylalanine is not converted into tyrosine. Because of that, phenylalanine gets accumulated in your body, and that condition is called as phenylketonuria. Okay. So what is the problem in phenylketonuria? The gene responsible for this is PAH gene. PAH gene is responsible for production of the enzyme called phenylalanine hydroxylase. Here you can see phenylalanine hydroxylase. What is the function of this phenylalanine hydroxylase? It converts the phenylalanine into tyrosine. This conversion is stopped due to absence of the enzyme called phenylalanine hydroxylase. Okay, so this is the problem here. So this condition is called as phenylketonuria. It is also an autosomal recessive disorder. So what is the main problem here? The protein which we take, it contains an amino acid called phenylalanine. That phenylalanine should convert into tyrosine, which helps in the formation of all these things. That is oxidation. It helps in protein synthesis. It helps in formation of catecholamines. It helps in formation of thyroxine. It helps in formation of melanin. So all these substances which need to be formed in our body due to the tyrosine will be blocked, because tyrosine is not forming due to absence of this step. What is the step here? Phenylalanine conversion is stopped by the absence of the enzyme called phenylalanine hydroxylase. And this enzyme is absent due to the gene which is defective in our body or which is mutated in our body, called as PAH gene. And there are some symptoms here. Mostly it is useful in, as I told you, tyrosine is also useful in, helps in formation of neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters like epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine. That means your neurotransmission will also get affected if this step is stopped here. An infant with classic PKU may appear normal for the first few months of their life, but afterwards they develop symptoms like seizures, they develop tremors. All these are nervous disorders. They are stunted in growth, they are hyperactivity, the nerves will be hyperactive, and skin conditions like eczema, and their odor, when they breathe, they get an odor from their body, which is a musty odor, even from the skin as well as from the urine. These are some symptoms of phenylketonuria. I think you understood this one. Phenylketonuria is a disorder caused due to the deficiency of the enzyme called phenylalanine hydroxylase due to mutation in the gene called PAH gene, which leads into the formation of tyrosine. And tyrosine is useful in the formation of neurotransmitters like epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine. When these are absent, all the nervous related problems will occur. And in the early stages, we cannot find out, but after a few months of their life, we get to know that the baby is suffering with some disorder. And mostly symptoms include seizures, tremors, or trembling and shaking, stunted growth, hyperactivity, eczema, etc. This is about phenylketonuria. Next comes is galactosemia. Galactosemia means galactose in the blood. It's a very rare inherited conditions where the galactose, which is found in the milk mostly. Generally what happens, lactose, which is found in the milk, converts into glucose and galactose with the help of the enzyme called lactase. But what happens here is the galactose should undergo some metabolic activity. It should enter into the metabolic activity like glycolysis pathway. So this galactosemia should convert into glucose. The galactose should convert into glucose by the enzyme called galactose 1-phosphate uridyl transferase, that is called GALT. This GALT is either missing or not working properly. When this GALT is either missing or not working properly, galactose is not converted to glucose. That is the problem. So that leads into accumulation of galactose in the blood. And this condition or this problem is called as galactosemia. So this is first reported by Frederick Gopter, a German physician, and later on the defects were identified by Hermann Kalker in 1956. So there are basically three different types of galactosemia. Classic galactosemia type 1, classic, and another one is galactosemia type 2 and type 3. So these are due to deficiency of different types of enzymes essential for conversion of galactose into glucose. You can see here galactose to galactose 1-phosphate by the enzyme called galactokinase, which is called GALK. And next galactose 1p uridyl transferase, that is GALT, converts into this UDP GAL. So this reaction is stopped here due to absence of this particular enzyme. So as these enzymes, there are different enzymes which help in the conversion of or metabolism of galactose. So as these enzymes are absent, one is GALK, GALT, and GALE. So that is the reason there are three different enzymes which help in the metabolic activity of the galactose conversion. So as these are absent, it leads into a disease called, a disorder called as galactosemia. So what are the symptoms here? It's a sugar, so it leads to hepatomegaly, cirrhosis, destruction of the cells, renal failure, cataract, vomiting, seizures, hypoglycemia, lethargy, even sometimes it leads to brain damage or ovarian failure. And if it is not treated, infants normally die. Okay, and long-term complications. Suppose if we get to know about it and we start giving some treatment, there are some long-term complications also, like speech defects. They cannot speak properly. Ataxia, that is loss of control on bodily movements. Dysmetria, diminished bone density, premature ovarian failure, and cataract, as we have seen earlier. So these are the symptoms which generally we see with the person suffering with galactosemia. The next one is glycogen storage disease, the other one. Glycogen storage disease, that is called GSD, or it is also called glycogenosis or dextrinosis. It's a metabolic disorder. It's a metabolic disorder caused by the enzyme deficiency affecting either glycogen synthesis, or it affects the glycogen breakdown mostly, or it affects the process of glycolysis either in the muscles or in the liver. It's also a genetic disorder. It may be either genetically occurred or acquired, but means during our lifetime also we can get this disease called as glycogen storage disease, not only genetical disorder. And mostly we are talking here about inborn metabolism. So genetic DST is caused by inborn error of metabolism. Typically there are different types of enzymes which are involved here. And as I told you, acquired matlab during lifetime also we may acquire this glycogen storage disease, and that is due to the absence of the or due to the consumption of a chemical called alkaloid castanospermine. This is a chemical which leads to formation of acquired GST. But here we are discussing about genetic disorder. So we'll talk only about inborn error metabolism here. So there's the inborn error metabolism of GST is due to many number of enzymes. So I will just show you here. This is a table which shows you that there are different types of glycogen storage diseases like type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 5, type 6, type 7, and type 8. There are different types here. And there are different types of enzymes which are affecting it. You can just go through it. There are different types of enzymes which affect it. For example, if you take type 1, it is called von Guericke. Type 1 is von Guericke, which is due to absence or defective enzyme, that is glucose 6-phosphate, and organs affected are liver and kidney. What is the condition here? The condition is enlargement of liver, failure to thrive, they cannot live, survive, or severe hypoglycemia, ketosis, hyperuricemia, hyperlipemia, lipids increase in your body, and ketones increase in your body, glucose content will increase in your body, the urea content will increase in our body. All these conditions occur when type 1 that is GST occurs. Type 1 GST is due to defect of the enzyme called glucose 6-phosphate. Next, type 2 is due to deficiency of the enzyme alpha 1,4-glucosidase. It affects all the organs. It also leads to cardiorespiratory failure and mostly causes death before the age of 2. Survival chances is very less. And type 3, amylo 1,6-glucosidase. The organs affected are muscle and liver. And here also, glycogen in the affected organ will be very much more. And like type 1, but milder course. Not that much effective, that much problem here. Next is type 4. It is due to the branching enzymes, alpha 1,4 and alpha 1,6, these two. Liver and spleen are the organs which are affected here. And the glycogen stored will be normal amount, but the branches which come out from glycogen will be very large. Progressive cirrhosis of liver, the cells of the liver will get damaged. And finally, liver fails and leads to death before the age of 2. And next is type 5. Type 5 is caused due to phosphorylase, deficiency of the enzyme phosphorylase. The organ affected is muscle. Moderately increased amount and normal structure will be there for the glycogen, and limited ability to perform strenuous exercise because of painful muscle cramps, because it affects mostly muscle, so they cannot do normal exercise, or they cannot walk, run, or do anything. Next is type 6, that same enzyme phosphorylase, but the organ affected here is liver, and the amount of glycogen stored is very much high, and it is same like type 1 but little bit mild in condition. Next is 7, phosphofructokinase is the enzyme responsible here. Deficiency of this particular enzyme leads to storage of glycogen in our body. The organ affected is muscle, like type 5, same like type 5. And next is 8, phosphorylase kinase is the enzyme deficient here. The organ affected is liver, and mild liver enlargement and mild hypoglycemia is seen here. So these are the different types of GSDs, glycogen storage diseases, which occur due to genetic problem, genetical disorders. Defect in all these particular enzymes which help in the metabolic activity of the glycogen, that is conversion of glycogen into glucose, or in the process of glycolysis, wherever the glycogen is used, those metabolic activities will be delayed or they will be stopped because of the deficiency of these particular enzymes, which lead to accumulation of glycogen in our body, and that particular disease is called as glycogen storage disease. And here there's a note you can see here, type 1 through type 7 are inherited as autosomal recessive, but type 8 is a sex-linked disorder. That means it is due to the allosomes. That is about glycogen storage disease. Okay, so there are different types of enzymes responsible for glycogen storage disease, and these are the symptoms. Next comes the maple sugar urine disease. So maple sugar urine disease is a disorder in which body cannot break down certain parts of proteins. And urine of people with this condition smell like a maple syrup, sugar syrup. So that's the reason we call it as maple sugar urine disease. And it is also inherited. That means it's passed from families. Okay, if any of your family members have suffered with this maple urine syrup disease, then there are chances of getting them. Okay, and it is caused by the defect in one of the three genes characterized by deficient certain enzymes like branched chain alpha keto acid dehydrogenase complex. Okay, this is the enzyme. Deficiency of this particular enzyme leads into the disorder called maple sugar urine disease. And people with this condition cannot break down amino acids like leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So these are the amino acids which cannot be break down. And these leucine, isoleucine, and valine, they get accumulate in your body, leads to some damage to they damage your brain, and sometimes it leads to physical stress and infections, fever, or not eating for longer time. So there are so many disorders we'll just see here. So what is it? It is due to the deficiency of complex enzyme, a branched chain enzyme called alpha keto acid dehydrogenase complex. And what is the problem here? The leucine, isoleucine, and valine, these three, they get accumulate in your body. So here you can see enzyme defect in maple syrup urine disease. As I told you, leucine, isoleucine, valine, these three get accumulate. What should happen here? This leucine should convert into ester-acetate. Isoleucine should convert into acetyl-CoA or propenyl-CoA. You can see here, leucine should convert into ester-acetate and acetyl-CoA. In the same way, isoleucine should convert into acetyl-CoA and propenyl-CoA. Valine should also convert to propenyl-CoA. That means the breakdown of these three components, that is leucine, isoleucine, and valine, should lead to acetoacetate, acetyl-CoA, propenyl-CoA. But these three are not forming. Why they are not forming? Because of the deficiency of these three enzymes. What is that? 2-keto isocarpurate, 2-keto-3-methyl valerate, and 2-keto isovalerate. These are the enzymes. We together call them as branched enzyme, that is keto acid dehydrogenase. They are branched chain keto acid dehydrogenase enzymes. So because of defect of this branched chain keto acid dehydrogenase enzyme, these leucine, isoleucine, and valine are not getting breakdown into acetoacetate, acetyl-CoA, and propenyl-CoA. Then it leads to a disorder called as maple syrup urine disease. What is the main condition I told you? It is nothing but the urine color will be changing. You can see the normal urine, and this is a maple syrup disease urine, which is very dark sugar syrupy color it is. It leads to stunted growth. There are a lot of health problems. These are all symptoms. The disease is named for the presence of sweet smelling urine. That's why it is called as maple syrup urine disease. And the order is also like that. The smell of that particular urine will be also sweet smell, maple syrup smell. And in population to whom maple syrup is unfamiliar, the aroma can be linked with that of fenugreek. Fenugreek aroma will be seen here. And infants with MSUD. So infants with this disease seem healthy at birth, but quickly deteriorate, often with severe brain damage, and may also lead to death if it is not treated within first 5 months. If you are not able to detect within first 5 minutes, or if it is not able to know or not able to treat, then those infants will die. So these are all symptoms of MSUD. Anorexia. There are so many number of symptoms. Hallucinations, because it affects our brain. Inappropriate, uncharacteristically inappropriate, extreme or erratic behavior and mood swings, hallucination, anorexia, weight loss, anemia, diarrhea, vomiting, dehydration, lethargy, oscillating hypotonia, and hypotonia. That means our osmotic balance will also get disturbed, ataxia, seizures, hypoglycemia, ketoacidosis, and opisthotonus. The muscle spasms and all occur. And if there is no treatment properly, it leads to cerebral cerebral edema and osteoporosis, which may finally lead to death of that particular patient. Next comes the fructose intolerance. So fructose malabsorption, formerly named as dietary fructose intolerance, is a digestive disorder in which absorption of fructose is impaired by deficient fructose carriers in the small intestine. That means absorption of fructose is not occurring properly in the small intestine. The result, this result results in an increased concentration of fructose in the urine. There is no proper absorption of the fructose. So the increased concentration of fructose in the entire intestine. Intolerance of fructose was first identified and reported in the year 1956. And more serious and complicated diseases, hereditary fructose intolerance. One is dietary fructose intolerance, other one is hereditary fructose intolerance. We are going to discuss about hereditary fructose intolerance because it is genetically related. And it is a very rare genetic disorder, affects 1 in 20,000 to 30,000 people. And what is the problem here is the enzyme necessary to break down fructose is deficient in our body. The people who are suffering with this disease, there will be no enzyme necessary to break down the fructose. So mostly we get confused with whether it is hereditary or whether it is due to malabsorption of fructose in our body. So here, the hereditary fructose intolerance is an inborn error of fructose metabolism caused by the deficiency of the enzyme called aldolase B. This you should remember. Aldolase B is the enzyme deficient which leads to the disease or disorder called fructose intolerance, and we are discussing here about hereditary fructose intolerance because hereditary fructose intolerance is an inborn error metabolism, and this is an autosomal recessive disorder due to mutation in the gene called ALDOB gene. So what is the gene here? ALDOB gene is undergoing, ALDOB gene has underwent mutations. Because of the mutation of ALDOB gene, it causes a disease called fructose intolerance. These are the symptoms of fructose malabsorption. One is nausea, bloating, gas formation, abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, chronic fatigue, malabsorption of certain nutrients such as iron. Iron cannot be absorbed properly into the body. In addition, there's evidence that links fructose malabsorption with mood disorders and even depression. So these are some symptoms of fructose malabsorption. So here you can see the reaction here. This is a normal fructose metabolism where fructose changes to fructose 1-phosphate with the help of the enzyme fructose kinase. And this fructose 1-phosphate with the help of the enzyme aldolase B, here you can see aldolase B converts into glyceraldehyde and DHAP. And they help in the formation of energy. But what is happening here, this fructose 1-phosphate, the aldolase B is absent. Here you can see. So this reaction is interrupted. That means it is not forming into glyceraldehyde and DHAP, and this fructose 1-phosphate is getting accumulated in our body, and it leads to hypoglycemia and other toxic effects which affect our liver, kidney, and even small intestine, and it inhibits the process of glycolysis and gluconeogenesis, because this finally helps in the pathway of TCS cycle and glycolysis cycle. So that is interrupted here. So this is the function of fructose. This is a normal fructose metabolism, and this picture shows you the abnormality in the fructose metabolism. So what is happening here? Fructose should convert into glyceraldehyde and DHAP, but what is happening here? The fructose 1-phosphate which is formed is not getting converted because of the absence of aldolase B. Next, finally, it is albinism. You people might be knowing about albinism. Albinism means nothing but where the people, they have problem with their pigmentation of their skin. The whole body will be white in nature. Even the eyes and hair, everything will be white. This is due to the absence or defect in the enzyme tyrosinase, a copper containing enzyme involved in the production of melanin. Melanin is a pigment which gives color to your skin. As this is absent, the skin color is not formed. So people with albinism will have the following symptoms: absence of color in the hair, even the skin and eyes, lighter than normal coloring of hair, skin or eyes, patches of skin that have absence of color. So melanin is a pigment necessary to give color to your body. When that melanin is not formed in your body, the whole body will be colorless. So such condition is called as albinism. So albinism affects your vision mostly. So it leads to strabismus, that is crossed eyes, photophobia, sensitive to light, nystagmus, involuntary rapid eye movements, impaired vision or sometimes blindness also, astigmatism, blurred vision. It occurs when cornea is irregularly shaped or sometimes because of the curvature of the lens inside the eyes. That means albinism mostly affects your sight. Okay, what is albinism? Albinism means nothing but, it's nothing but a congenital disorder, absence of pigment in the skin as well as your hair and eyes. That means the total body will be colorless. There will be no pigmentation on your body. And what is the reason for this? The reason for this is the enzyme tyrosinase. Tyrosinase is defect in your body, which is necessary for the production of the pigment called melanin. Thank you.